ये एक आदमी का काम नहीं है। परिकल्पना भी एक आदमी का नहीं और रेप मर्डर भी एक आदमी का नहीं। प्रमाण उसको तो नष्ट कर दिया गया था, हटाया दिया गया था।
আমরা এটাই বলেছিলাম আমাদের হাতেই কেসটা থাকলে আমরা কিন্তু অনেক দিন আগেই ফাঁসির অর্ডার দিয়ে দিতে পারি, ফাঁসির অর্ডার করে দিতে পারি। সুতরাং ডিটেলসটা তো আমি জানি না, ডিটেলসটা তো সিবিআই করছে।
Viewers, you remember the RG-Kor rape and murder. You know, it's not the rarest of rare case. The brutal rape and murder of the junior doctor at the RG-Kor Medical College wasn't deemed rarest of rare. The brutality that sent shivers down the spine was not rarest of rare. The cold-bloodedness that triggered nationwide outrage wasn't considered rarest of rare. Viewers, a Kolkata court today sentenced Sanjay Roy, the convict in the case of a 34-year-old doctor at RG-Kor Medical College and Hospital, to life imprisonment, and noted that the case was not in the rarest of the rare category for a death penalty. He escaped the death penalty. West Bengal government, viewers, has been asked to pay a sum of 17 lakh rupees to the victim's parents. The victim's parents who were in the courtroom waiting for justice for their daughter, who cannot come back to them anymore. With folded hands, they said, "We do not want compensation. We just want justice." Viewers, as per the post-mortem report, you would recall, she was bleeding from both her eyes. There was injury over her face and nail. She was bleeding from her vagina. There was injury in her left leg, in her belly, over her left leg's ankle, at her neck, on her right hand's ring finger, over her lips. You tell me, how can this kind of brutality not be considered rarest of rare? Who will ensure justice to the family of this 34-year-old junior doctor who was brutally raped and murdered, viewers, only at a time she was in the hospital just doing her duty? The question is that when Nirbhaya happened, viewers, we all thought that it will shake the conscience of the entire nation so badly that nothing of this sort will ever happen again. Nobody will even dare to look at a girl the way Nirbhaya was brutalized in December many years ago. But it repeated. And now the question that's being asked is, who will ensure justice? Do parents want 17 lakh rupees? Can that bring their daughter back, viewers? And we are also seeing politics on this issue, but it's more important for us as society to think about this case. What have we become as a society? And viewers, that's exactly what we are going to be discussing on the breaking ground this evening. Brutalized, raped and murdered, not considered rarest of rare. That's the first question that we are going to be asking. Botched up initial probe led to lighter sentence. Who is responsible? Was evidence tampered with during the probe, during the investigation? Will the state government now appeal against the verdict? And lastly, who betrayed Bharat's daughter? This girl, what was her fault, you tell me? That's the question we are going to be discussing, with our guests who are joining us this evening. We have, in fact, Saurav Sidkar, BJP spokesperson, who is going to be joining us in just a bit. Swapnil Kothari, senior lawyer, is live with us. Asif Ansari, political analyst, is live with us. Dr. Ranjana Kumari, director, Center for Social Research, is also live with us this evening. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us here on Times Now. All the people that we have spoken to ever since this quantum of sentence was announced, they seemed very disappointed. They said that this is not justice. 17 lakh rupees cannot bring their daughter back. And how can you equate a rape and a brutal murder with 17 lakh rupees? Can anything in this life compensate, what the parents of this girl had to go through? So I want to begin this discussion with you, Dr. Ranjana Kumari. What are your thoughts today? Because in the courtroom, it was considered not rarest of rare.
This is not a closure.
we don't consider this case as a closer. Judgment came quickly is welcome. And also that CBI has failed in really presenting the facts of the case to the court in convincing manner in which it should have been considered rarest of the rare. As you very rightly said, what is then rarest of the rare? If brutalizing her body to the extent that every part of her body was bleeding, cut, I don't know what all they did with her body, and also that she was raped, rape and murder of the kind which is never heard of in this kind of a circumstances. They what else should have been rarest of the rare? So I also totally agree with your point of view, and also with this, that this is there is some amount of botch up even at this stage when the judgment has come. It's not, and there's so many questions after this rape and murder were raised about other people's involvement, about head of the medical institution's involvement, about even state machinery's involvement in terms of watching up of the case. So what has CBI really come up with? I mean, from day one, they were saying this was the culprit, and they were saying that this is the guy who's done everything. And finally, now they have said, okay, life imprisonment. So nobody, whole nation was moved by this case. Just like Nirbhaya, we protested even in this case. There was so much of demand of severest punishment. Is this the severest punishment? Tomorrow he will be out on bail under some or the other pretext, some death in the family and he's out. And then what happens? Nation should be ready for such a culprit, such a perpetrator of violence and rape to, attack some other woman somewhere. So why should we leave such people to just be in jail for whole life? Why? Why could CBI, after all this inquiry, everything, not prove that this was rarest of the rare? Who has failed here? I think, again, when we were saying state government is failing us, the state police is not doing the right job, they are watching the case. So what has the CBI done in this case? Why they have not been able to come up with the real evidence, real issues which were involved? Who were the people? Still, we are not convinced that this was just one man. So where are the others? What happened?
Well, absolutely. And those are important questions you're raising, ma'am. And before I talk about, the role of the CBI in this case, I want to go across to Swapnil Kothari as well. Your first thoughts, because I was just, looking at the postmortem report and the details that came out. I mean, I was shivering literally when I was reading it. I mean, what more do you want to see to call it rarest of the rare is the big question that everybody is asking today.
Hina, I completely understand, and it's a complete mockery of justice. If this is not the rarest of rare case, then what is? Nirbhaya's case sent 4 people to the gallows. That operated as a clear-cut precedent for the lower courts to follow, which is this Sealdah court could have followed that. It could have given the judgment of death sentence. That's number one. Number two is, I believe that it would be my suggestion to the courts of the country that whenever there is a case of rape, try at best, and especially gruesome rape, try at best to have a woman judge. When you have a woman judge, she is able to feel the pain that you and lady panelists can feel more so. I'm not for a moment saying that what has happened is something which is, excusable. I believe the learned judge ought to have given the death sentence. But when you have a lady judge, she is in a better position to sympathize and empathize and understand the gravity of the issue, and the death sentence could have perhaps followed had there been a lady judge. Now, that is just a recommendation, it's just a suggestion. It's not going to be possible in all the cases, but this is just a food for thought. Now, as far as the CBI's aspect is concerned, the very fact that CBI came into the picture clearly indicated that the Kolkata police had initially botched up the probe and had let off certain influential individuals. And that is the reason why you see only one person being convicted. Where are the others? This is a clear indication of a gang rape. Evidence suggests that this was not the handiwork of one person, but several people were involved in this case. So every single person who was privy to the crime should have been convicted and should have been given the same amount of punishment, and which is nothing short of a death sentence. What I suggest to your viewers, and especially to the parents if they're hearing this, is that they should go and appeal to the higher court, that is the High Court, and try to get this sentence escalated to that of a death sentence. This is what the CBI should be doing, because if that's the CBI being through the prosecution or whoever the prosecution lawyer is, and they should be doing that. I'm sure they must have tried their best. I'm not saying that, that they would have not said that. But ultimately, that rarest of rare is something, which the judge in his discretion uses. Now, this is where I disagree with the discretionary aspect of the judge. I don't disagree with the fact that he should have the discretion. What I disagree is that the exercise of the discretion in this particular case. So what I suggest is that this should have another precedent, operated as another precedent, that it should have been the gallows, nothing short of that. And then what is one good thing, Hina, as you pointed out, is one welcoming thing is that it's come out about in five months or so. So that's one very good thing. So that's something which I'm happy about. And you go through the tiers now quickly, one after the other, and literally let's have the BNS, which is the complete overhaul of the criminal justice system, actually show that it's, as Amit Shah had pointed out, that within 3 years, you will get your justice through all the tiers. So let's hope that this is what exactly happens. First, reverse escalation to the gallows. Then, of course, he'll go to the Supreme Court. Then the Supreme Court will send it. The victim has the chance. So if he's convicted of death sentence, he'll go to the president and things like that for commutation, or to the governor as whatever he wishes to do.
Right.
And then, exhaust all those tiers.
Well, I slightly disagree with the point that you're making. I don't know what Ranjana Kumari ji feels about it, that, a lady judge would have been in a better position to empathize, because it's about human beings. I mean, we as human beings, I am at a loss of words right now, because anybody who would have gone through the details of the case, be it a man or a woman, would have, felt the pain that this girl, this young doctor had to go through. So I slightly disagree on that. Ranjana ji, yes.
Yes, I think while your thoughts are very noble and you want, but should women get justice only from women? Doesn't it affect everyone in the society? Don't we all have women in our houses? Whether it is daughter, wife, or whatever, a girlfriend, whatever. I mean, don't you think that, everybody has to be as sensitive to this issue? Did they all not know? This man sitting, any judge for that matter, did they not hear about all the things that were coming out? Absolutely. And the kind of brutality that was inflicted on women's body? Should this not move? And also, if any lawyer who was pleading this case, any lawyer who defended the case, should they not also be as sensitive? Because even if the judge is a woman, all the lawyers will be, we cannot create these kind of silos to get justice.
I completely agree. That's why I raised it. That's why I raised it. Swapnil Kothari, I know you want to rebut. Okay, 10 seconds.
There is no fight with Swapnil Kothari. But what I'm trying to say is that this is absolutely unthinkable idea that why should
Swapnil Kothari,
a woman to deliver justice?
Quick response, then I'll go across to my other guests.
I'll make a very quick response. What we do is that when you notice that there are certain judges with certain predilections or preferences, say, for example, if they are not of a capitalist mind or anything of that sort, where they don't want huts to be going away for a broader development, we tend to ensure that, okay, let's get this case heard by somebody who would be more enterprising of nature or anything of that sort. So it's a suggestion. I'm not saying that any man should feel the pain. So I'm trying to go a step ahead. I'm saying that, okay, this to avoid now, for example, in the future, if there is a possibility, I'm not saying that, so don't get me wrong, I'm only giving you a question, a chance that, okay, this is something which is not happening.
Okay, that's a point that you made. Ranjana Kumari disagrees, and to a certain extent, even I disagree with that suggestion of yours, because when we as citizens of this country go to a courtroom, go to, any court, lower court, high court, Supreme Court, we go seeking justice. That's it.
Correct.
We don't pick and choose, this one should hear our case, that one should fight our case. We seek justice, and let's not add any more biases, in that area. Let me now go across to the politicians on the show. Saurav Sealdah as well as Asif Ansari. Now, this question of mine is for both of you. When this incident took place on 9th of August 2024, we all were shocked. There were protests, not just in Kolkata and parts of West Bengal, but across India. And we all were fighting for justice, thinking that this thing is unprecedented. And, here the family should get justice. A lot happened in the first month itself. BJP versus TMC was another aspect that came out. TMC said we are doing our job well. BJP said no, the case should be given to the CBI. After the verdict came out on Saturday 1st, TMC was the first one to claim vindication. Now you tell me, what will you say to the family of the victim when in the courtroom they were told there is not going to be a death penalty, West Bengal government will give 17 lakh rupees to the parents. Parents said, no, हमें आप justice दे दो, 17 lakh रुपए नहीं चाहिए. So I want to ask you, who was behind tampering of evidence? And, you know, because CBI is being questioned, TMC says we did our job properly, our government, our cops did our job. It was the CBI that was in a hurry to take up the matter, and hence, you know, just see what they've done. So this question is for both of you, Asif Ansari as well as Mr. Saurav.
Who will say first? Me?
Who will go first? Saurav Sikdar?
Yes.
Okay.
See, the question is why Mamata Banerjee has to remove his CP and other senior police officials if they did their job correctly. Secondly, the convicted Sanjay Roy. See, I am also, as a person, as a brother, I am also not happy with this verdict. It should be the stronger one. But yes, there is the upper court there. Her family may go there. That is their prerogative. But when Sanjay Roy on record on the court shouted that whatever I did instruction of my higher authority. Even he mentioned senior IPS. Then why this part has been neglected? So when Mamata Banerjee is claiming that my police did the correct job, CBI hasn't done anything. So in 5 days is good enough to tamper or remove any evidence. Senior lawyer Mr. Kothari is there; he can tell better. So that's why the police, the role of police is questionable.
Okay.
And second thing, the role of state government is also questionable. Mamata Banerjee herself is a health minister as well as the police minister. So when her police, what he claims that they did their duty, why she has to remove the CP? Why she has to remove the deputy commissioner of police?
Okay.
So that is the question that I want.
Asif Ansari, now you respond to what I asked.
Well, Hannah, just before I just start my view on this, I just like to say that the BJP person, Mr. Saurav Sikdar, I can't endorse his ideas, because you will see from the beginning of this case what happened, and the whole country lamented on that. Even we are the persons who lamented, our whole city lamented, and it happened on the festive season with the most important festival of Bengal, on Durga Puja. That was unfortunate things, and unprecedented thing happens over here. Now the point is that it is about the CBI who has done all the investigations, where the state police, not the state government is involved on that. Now the questions who are arising, it is arising on the CBI, which is the central agency. First thing. Second thing is that on very second day of 12, it happened on 9 and 12, Mamata Banerjee visited the victim's house, where she ensures if the Calcutta police fail to give proper investigation, if some kind of probe cannot be done, she will hand over this case to CBI directly. Then the very next day, the case has been handed to the CBI, which is again an unprecedented thing. It has never happened in the country. It has never happened in a country that in a very quick succession, the case has been given to the CBI. Now the CBI has took the case, and CBI has done all the investigations. Everything has been done. Thirdly, the thing, the CM cannot be charged or alleged for saving any kind of people or the perpetrators over there. I think justice can be rely on evidence, not on the presumptions. What people are presuming that safety is there, she is trying to hide something, cover their people. It is not that, because you are fingering on the court justice, you are talking about the judiciary, you are not satisfied with the judiciary. Secondly, you are not satisfied with the central agency, the CBI. Now, the fourth thing is that the quantum of punishment. The quantum of punishment can be again can be changed, because if you the victim's family, the bewailed mothers who has been lamented, she is not convinced by the this sentence which has been awarded to Sanjay Roy, she can appeal to the higher court. Maybe this sentence can be turned into a death penalty, but there is always a chance for
Will West Bengal
reformations and the
government do
rehabilitation
this?
for the society.
Will West Bengal government do this for the family? Because Mamta Banerjee, the West Bengal chief minister, a short while ago, while reacting to this, said that, you know, we wanted death penalty. That's how we were proceeding, but the case was snatched away from us.
Hena, you can see the prosecution was very much emphasizing and asserted for the death penalty. So it has been definitely the state government won the death penalty. Even the CM has also told that she wanted to be that the person to get a death penalty. Where the CM is showing the lackadaisical desire for not giving a
Okay,
death
Dr.
penalty.
Ranjana Kumari and Swapnil Kothari. Now I want to come back to you, because we have heard what the politicians had to say in this case. My question is very simple. You know, the family is waiting for justice. What can be done and should be done from here on? 60 seconds to each one of you. Dr. Ranjana Kumari first, then Swapnil Kothari.
Hina, the case was actually cognizance of the case was taken suo moto by Supreme Court of India, and that's how CBI was handed over this inquiry. So I think this is the time when state government will have to appeal further, because this is absolutely not acceptable that, you know, this kind of brutalization, rape and then murder, Hina. This is not normal. This is rarest of the rare. So in this case, this has to go at the higher level. State government will have to help the family. In fact, I would say on behalf of the family, the state government should take up the case. You know, it is possible for state government to take up the case and to take it further. Or as Supreme Court walked in on its own volition, they decided to come in. So they should now, this is the time to tell the nation that this kind of a the heinous crime should not get away with light punishment. It has to be severe. I remember there was a Dhananjoy, one of the gatekeepers for one of the buildings who raped a young 12-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid, I remember, and he was hanged from Calcutta only. So I feel that this is not at all acceptable to us. This is not closure of the case. We still are waiting for the real punishment for such culprit, and we don't want such culprit to come out of the jail because they are serving only life imprisonment and to again.
I want to give the last word now to Swapnil Kothari. 60 seconds only. I'm completely out of time already.
Yeah, Hina, it's life imprisonment till death. So the chances of this culprit coming out, except for some emergencies or anything, I do not foresee that at all. And that's not going to be commuted, meaning it's not going to come down below that by any of the courts. So it's always going to go up higher and higher. Even if this man appeals, the person who's been given 25 years, if he's going to go saying that, I was crazy, I was mad or something like that, it's not going to go down. It's going to stay there, or as best, it's going to get converted into a death penalty. Now, I have one difference with Ranjana Kumari here, that as far as the Supreme Court's any suggestion or any sort of a comment also on this particular judgment would be highly inappropriate. It is not required at all. Courts function freely. You cannot make a public comment saying that, we think she should have been a death sentence, etc. Let the case come up to the Supreme Court. And then the Supreme Court will be well within its rights and to even then actually give the death sentence. But to even make the slightest comment right now would be extremely inappropriate for a higher court to do, and especially the Supreme Court, given the kind of glare that it's always under in and the kind of wisdom and the power and, stature that it enjoys.
Okay, important point. I think we've heard all the sides here, and this is going to be a top focus ahead as well on Times Now. Thank you very much, all of you. Dr. Ranjana Kumari, Mr. Swapnil Kothari, Saurav Sikdar, and Asif Ansari. Appreciate all of you for joining us here on this debate on Times Now. Heading into a very, very short break. We'll be back with more. Don't go anywhere.